Welcome to my basement. If you haven't watched Breaking Bad, El Camino, or Better Call Saul, then get out. You need to watch them right now because they're really good. Also, this video might spoil some cool parts for you. Speaking from personal experience, if you've managed to avoid spoilers from it up until now, then it's well worth it to go in blind. So before you watch it, squeeze lemons in your eye. Anyway, after watching everything, something you'll come to realize fairly quickly is that the Breaking Bad franchise is, well, meant for adults. Because you should have avoided this one.
I mean, there's blood and gore from bathtubs and box cutters, basic cable romance scenes, you know, the type where nobody's naked and it lasts for 15 seconds, much like your sex life. Very realistic drug use, I think. I assume this scene is entirely literal. And best of all, swearing.
Seeing as it's a realistic show and people tend to swear in real life, it helps add to the realism of the show, as well as the characters, and it's also just funny sometimes.
Your imbecility being what it is, I should have known to say, Jesse, don't leave the keys in the ignition the entire 2 days.
I wanted to leave them on the counter, bitch.
However, with all the shits and bitches said throughout the series, there's one particular swear word they seem to use fairly infrequently compared to the others. The spooky, naughty F word. Ooh. Why do people do this with their hand when they're trying to be scared?
If you watched it for the first time on Netflix, where nothing is censored, it seems as though they just so happen to say it really infrequently, and also during the most intense emotional scenes.
This little motherfucker not doing what he's told.
But if you're a massive nerd dork, when you first heard them say the F word or saw some of the other stuff like the titties in the pilot, you probably thought, wait, what? Wasn't this a TV show? On TV? How'd they get away with this? I thought the people in charge of TV were lame conservative Christian Puritans who hate fun. Fun is defined by titties and the F word. Then you remember Game of Thrones is a show that you heard of before that had both titties and the F word, among other things, and was a show way before Netflix was around and doing all of this regularly. So that then drives you to spend tons of time trying to figure out how TV in America works because you're Canadian and never watched anything other than SpongeBob or Gumball when your family had cable, and you never actively put any thought into how it works your whole life until now. And you're already obsessed with rating systems and censorship and what artists are and aren't allowed to put in art, and now you know more about it than is probably necessary considering cable is a dying industry compared to streaming, so you decide to use this useless knowledge in a YouTube video.
Relatable, am I right?
Okay, so American Broadcast Network TV began as free-to-access programming broadcasted through public airwaves, kind of like a radio station, and is still free now just through modern digital broadcasting technology. The networks broadcasted through these public airwaves are made up of some fairly famous letter combinations, such as ABC, CBS, NBC, FOX, CW, PBS, among others, according to Wikipedia. That's all overseen by the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and they have rules against broadcasting sexual and excretory organs, sexual acts, and profanity. Also girl nipples.
Much like any human who thinks, it's kind of weird how titties automatically fall into this categorization. Titties are cool and all. Titties are cool and all, but literally from a natural perspective, they aren't sexual or excretory. The world, I guess, has just collectively agreed that squeezing them is so fun, or the milk they make is so mysterious, that they must be covered due to how much more interesting they are compared to boy nipples. And because of centuries of doing that, my bisexuality contract requires me to see them in a sexual way. And I don't mind that last part, I guess, but I just think it's very strange how they're treated the same as sex organs when literally from a natural perspective, they have no functionality in that department. However, what I find equally, if not even more stupid, is the FCC's, and thus the media's rules, against profane language. This is why the alphabet soup of TV stations I mentioned earlier tend to avoid saying the stronger ones like fuck, or the even stronger ones that YouTube won't even let me say without demonetization, like seems like most shows tend to just not put the word into the script so they don't get in trouble with the FCC, the fuck censoring committee. However, if it is in the script or just otherwise in the timeline for the final episode, it's usually covered up by everyone's favorite, the swear bleep.
They think you're full of
What in the actual
This check is made out to go yourself.
That's why this year, the Late Show softball team is the
buckets. Okay, as you can see, unfortunately, CBS won't let me swear at work.
The only examples of bleeped swears on scripted network TV I can think of are comedies, and on top of that, it almost seems as though the bleeping is part of the joke. Like, oh, look at us, we're saying the word you can't say on TV.
Jonah, could you please shut up? And that goes for all you. I can't listen to your for one more damn second.
I'm curious if there's any dramas that aired on network TV that swore and were bleeped or muted frequently. And know how I said network TV, not cable, which brings us slightly closer to what this video is actually about. You see, if you don't want to be restricted by the FCC's rules and risk financial punishment or license revoking for putting all those fun things normal people would want in a TV show, that's where cable comes in. You see, the FCC doesn't regulate cable. Sort of.
The FCC doesn't really care about profane language or indecent/sexual content
on cable television
because you have to opt in to see that stuff. However, if you broadcast obscene content, they'll still get pissed off. But the difference between obscene and just indecent seems to be artistic value, which seems pretty easy to claim. So, I don't know. Whatever. The point is, you can pretty much do whatever you want on cable, which is why a whole bunch of them are still super strict on that kind of content anyway.
I worked in network for many years, as you may be aware. My understanding when I moved to cable was that there's no standards and practices. Was that a mistake?
Yes.
Yeah, the FCC aren't the only ones who hate fun. Anyone who's been on YouTube since 2017 knows that advertisers also hate fun, which is why this video is probably demonetized. Many cable channels, despite you having to pay to watch them, still have ads to make lots of their money, which means the advertisers have a lot of power over what's allowed in the shows. And it turns out those people can be just as stingy over nudity and the word fuck. Probably not anything else though.
I took a big pay cut to come to cable, with the understanding that I could pretty much do whatever I wanted. And you're saying that that was
incorrect.
It's only the premium cable channels like Showtime and HBO that are, well, expensive enough to not really need advertisers. So they can show fuck and say fuck as much as they want in their shows. As for the basic cable channels, each one is different and has their own restrictions on what's allowed. Adult Swim has different rules than Comedy Central, which has different rules than FX. They aren't usually massively different, but they're still different. Which brings us to the channel Breaking Bad aired on.
Previously on AMC's Breaking Bad.
AMC is the network Breaking Bad aired on, and since they're geared towards adults with other shows like The Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, their advertisers seem to know what to expect and are very okay with being advertised alongside a prisoner being burned alive or Nazis murdering someone Jesse cares about right in front of him so he doesn't try to escape his meth cooking slavery. However, back when Breaking Bad first aired, they were a bit more picky with the F word because that's so much worse, obviously. So when Breaking Bad aired on TV, they censored it.
Shut the up.
I'm finally at this point of the video. They censored the F word many times by just muting it.
They get the out of here and never come back.
I mean, you could still tell what they were saying, clearly, but whatever. The advertisers' dipshit priorities were satisfied.
You.
It's interesting how it's a mute and not a bleep. The bleep is so commonplace that it's kind of weird how it's not used here in a way. Though you could argue that it's out of place with the tone of the show. While muting the F word rather than bleeping it is equally as distracting. I guess whoever made this decision, thought that swear bleeps were a bit more comedic compared to muting the swear words, which just gets the job done. On top of that, they were limited on the amount of censored fucks they were even allowed anyway. Sort of.
Now, something that annoys me is summer and how hot it is. That's why I'm sweating right now. But another thing that annoys me is how Breaking Bad has this myth that it was only given one fuck per season. And this myth is part of the reason why I wanted to make this video to begin with. This myth is usually peddled by places like Reddit and the director's commentary.
Obviously I kid, but Vince and other crew members have said on many occasions that they only get one fuck per year.
I wanted so badly to be able to say that, for you to be able to say the F word right here. But
you could say it now in the commentary. Good for you.
Yeah.
But we couldn't say it, right? They took it out.
Nah, they wouldn't let us say.
We get
one a year.
Can you say fart on cable?
Yes, you can.
Apparently you can.
That's why my children can't watch the show. Otherwise, it'd be fine.
We only get one fuck a season, however.
Yeah. Well, speak for yourself.
Yes. That was our one fuck of the season, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, never come back.
We get one F word a season.
So let's go over that. Okay, so season 1 has a bunch more than every other season.
battery born? Jesus.
You rock the six, motherfucker.
Nah, man, I can't say as I have high fucking hopes where that's concerned.
Can break in, use that. Can do it already.
Up until the day I said you and quit.
Then why don't you just fucking die already?
Don't you fucking think about it. Just grow some fucking balls. Are you fucking nuts?
Local bald motherfucker.
So already just blatantly saying Breaking Bad only has one effort per season is wrong, but let's give this the benefit of the doubt. It makes sense that the pilot has way more efforts than the rest of the series, considering it's the pilot before it was actually picked up. The pilot also has more nudity, technically. Not just the window part, but also this random poster in Crazy 8's house. According to the director's commentary, this pilot was made for FX and they passed on it.
That was, you know why? That was a version, that was a scene I rewrote for FX. This show originally was created for the FX network.
So I guess nobody at FX or their standards and practices team really gave notes on it while it was being made. I don't know. Why are there more efforts in season 1 compared to the rest of the series after it was later picked up by AMC though? Well, in the director's commentary for the pilot, when Hank flips the finger, they casually mention how they're not able to do that anymore.
That's some fun stuff there, Dino. We do a little finger.
Which, you know, if we're doing it now, I don't think they'd let us do it.
I guess they changed their minds. During this, he also casually mentions how they're not allowed to say as many swears now.
Coming up, it's like this season coming up, we can't say as many bad words as last season.
Which I assume means in season 2, considering this commentary was made for the season 1 home release, which was right before the season 2 premiere. So they were obviously making season 2 when they were recording this. Oh, and the reason Vince gives as to why they were allowed to swear more in season 1 is really funny. The reason they were allowed to swear more in season 1 was because nobody gave a shit about AMC back then.
We can't say as many bad words as last season.
Oh,
I think
why
it's because
not?
people are actually watching AMC now. And, you know,
Makes sense to me, I guess. Not as many people watching means not as much value on the ads, which means the advertisers don't care as much. By the way, for some reason, they only did commentary for 2 episodes in season 1. I was worried this person who uploaded this on YouTube only uploaded 2 and I'd actually have to buy the Blu-ray, but nope, they just made 2 commentaries for season 1. Damn. No, unfortunately, it's really hard to get clips of Breaking Bad season 1 as it aired on TV. Probably because canonically no one was watching it. There wasn't many clips on YouTube, and there wasn't really anyone seeding torrents of it. At least all the times that I checked. Which was 0 because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But even if you could prove anything, you're never going to take me alive. I was able to find some clips of Breaking Bad season 1 as it aired on AMC. Just not many that were useful. Because of this lack of footage, I don't know if they kept the F words but muted them every time, or sometimes dubbed over the dialogue, or whatever. According to this website, the pilot muted the swear words, but I can't prove that. Because they didn't include any video, just pictures, and pictures don't have audio. Luckily, I did find some clips of the iconic "This Is Not Meth" scene. That doesn't really make sense when you think about it. When Tuco says, "Are you fucking nuts?" the TV version doesn't mute it, but rather cuts the word out entirely.
Are you nuts?
Which is interesting. So it seems in season 1 they did censor the word, but the only hard evidence I could find on how they did it was this. I also found this clip where it seems as though they censored the God in goddamn.
You got a brother in the damn DEA?
Which I know happens on TV for whatever reason. I don't know, I don't believe in him.
Come on, Glenn! Come on! Get your head in the damn game! Get in the ship, sweetie! What? Get in the damn ship!
Both of y'all are fixing to get the wrath of God from me because I'm so damn pissed I can't even hardly talk.
During the season 5 commentary, during the Say My Name part, they talk about it in the same way they talk about the F word.
tell them about the goddamn, Tom.
Tell them about what is it
Well,
going to
just
say?
the
But we
fact
get
one a
we
year.
get one a year. We got to use a goddamn and a fuck in this episode, which is
Nice.
I won the lottery.
On the on-air screening of this, did they bleep out the goddamn, or did they
No,
allow that to go through?
they let it through on air.
They did.
Yeah.
Heisenberg, you're goddamn right.
It's we get one a year.
They bleeped out the fuck, but not the goddamn.
In the scene where they censor Jesse saying goddamn, he's literally doing drugs, so weird priorities. Anyway, luckily for me, I was able to find clips of how the F word was used, or I guess more accurately, altered, in seasons 2 through 5 of Breaking Bad as it aired on TV, through the same methods I tried using for season 1, looking on YouTube, and also in places that probably gave me malware. Oh shit. Yeah, that's right. I have a copy of the original TV airing of Ozymandias with the age rating, the watermark, and the really cringy previously on segment that clashes with the tone of pretty much the rest of the episode.
Previously on AMC's Breaking Bad. think I might have another job for your uncle. I watched Jane die.
That barrel looked familiar because I just found 6 more exactly like it.
Please, no!
Oh, come.
I got him. Dead to rights.
You got Walt.
You let that sink in.
Walt. I just want Holly back.
Actually, I have quite a few episodes with these opening segments. I know this is off topic, but look at these.
Previously on Breaking Bad.
His name is Jesse, Dad, and you don't know the first thing about him.
You're going back to rehab today. I have a daughter. Family. Can't give up on them.
They're amazing.
Previously on AMC's Breaking Bad.
What are we saying is the source of this money?
Walt came up with a story about gambling winnings. Blackjack rights and card counting.
In the same way something shitty could be considered amazing. This is another reason I want the cable versions of a lot of these episodes. These funny previously on segments with the dramatic music that tries smashing 47 minutes of plot into 30 seconds. Sometimes it isn't even that. The first one I showed there was for Fly. The previous episode wasn't the one where Jane died. They only showed the whole story of Jane within 15 seconds because of that part where you think that Walt's gonna tell Jesse about Jane's death, which she doesn't. Never would I ever think I would actually want ripped TV airings of a show, let alone this show, but alas, I've turned into a TV historian. But like a really lame one. I just hope season 1, or the whole series, the way it was aired on TV isn't entirely lost to media. I just think it's cool to get a look at all this stuff you can't see anymore due to Netflix making things better, and then worse again by causing the streaming service boom. Something these little previously on segments reminded me of as well is that most of the Breaking Bad universe when it aired on TV was given a TV-14 rating, which is interesting. You can see this on the IMDb too. Many episodes of both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul were rated TV-14, which is notably different from the TVMA rating the entire shows have on Netflix. It's also worth noting that not every episode was apparently rated TV-14. Some were rated TVMA when they first aired, at least according to IMDb. Should 14-year-olds be watching any of these shows? I don't know. Depends on the 14-year-old, I guess. But it is funny to think about a 14-year-old actually taking the rating seriously and deciding out of the goodness of their heart they should skip the TVMA-rated episodes when they aired in this narrative-driven show. Anyway, I was talking about the whole belief of Breaking Bad only having 1 F-word per season, but then I went insane. Okay, so let's count. So in season 1, I counted 14, but as said earlier, no one was watching AMC back then, so let's assume this rule came afterwards. Season 2 only has 1, this one at the dinner. This one was muted on the TV airing. Season 3 has 2, IFT and Walt yelling in pain. One was muted on TV. And the other was kinda muted on TV. Like, the scene plays out in the same length and they got rid of the F word, but they moved the god closer to the mother.
You like that?
There's still a bit of silence in between, but not as long as if they just actually silenced the F word. Yeah, it's strange. Season 4 has 3, this actual hobo in Jesse's house.
It's gonna fuck with your bone marrow.
Jesse kindly telling Walt to leave his home, and the classic Huel line. In the TV airing, the hobo and Huel were redubbed.
It's gonna play hard with your bone marrow.
This little mofo not doing what he's told.
While Jesse was muted.
Get the out of here and never come back.
Season 5 has 4 spoken F words. Al Pacino, Let Me Die in Peace, I'm Asac Schrader, and Psycho Fucks, all muted.
You wanna put me?
Shut the up.
You can go yourself.
Are you psycho?
There's also the 5th fuck that's written by Mike and was pixelated. Oh no, I can't tell what it says now. Okay, so it seems to me like with each season, they were given 1 extra spoken F word, though with season 4 it maybe seemed like one with the dubbing when broadcasted. But regardless, there you go. Either you're wrong because there's just indisputably more than 1 in all but season 2, or you're wrong because there are multiple seasons where you can tell they muted the F word more than once in the season. Okay, well, multiple means 2 in this case, but still, there's 2.
So I must say, bravo, Vince. You've successfully confused the fuck out of me. He's said this a lot, not just in the Breaking Bad commentaries, but also this interview thing that I found.
There's a certain F word that you can't ever say, except once a year we get to use it, except then it has to be dipped. They dip the volume, and we get that once a year. I think it's an oddball rule. Because if you're going to dip it, why not just be able to use it? But I think it's an aesthetic decision on AMC's part. They don't want to hear it, all the time. However, when they show Scarface, you're hearing it all the time, dipped. So it kind of, whatever.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting something here, but, they aired what did they call it? An audio dipped? Yeah, they aired an audio dipped F word more than once in a season.
Okay, so yeah, season 2, 1 dipped F word. Season 4 on the Blu-ray and Netflix, there's 3 normal F words, but there's 1 dipped F word and the other 2 are redubbed. So if you just watched it on TV, it would seem like 1. Season 3 though, it has 2 dips. But even if we don't count season 3 because of how weird the censoring in Fly is, considering they kind of muted it and also kind of cut it out, which seems kind of contrived, but whatever. When this interview was made available, the first half of season 5 was out. A lot of places separate episodes 1 to 8 of season 5 as season 5A and 9 to 16 as 5B, as there is a large break in the show. So it was kind of made and released like 2 separate seasons while still kind of being in the same season. Even if we were to count season 5A as its own season because it was in its own year, there's more than 1 dip. There are 2. And if you count the note, it's 3. And this interview was made public in the middle of the airing of season 5B. And while all the episodes hadn't aired yet, they were all made, and he should have known that season 5B also has 2 dipped F words. Vince, I don't get it. I genuinely have no clue why he said this. Or maybe I don't know what he means. I mean, I certainly don't think he's lying when he says that AMC gave them restrictions on the amount of swear words. But I have all of the clips of them airing on TV. I found them specifically to prove this 1 F word per season thing wrong. And it doesn't make sense with what he's saying. My best guess is that what he's saying is mostly true. And that this one in Fly didn't count in the eyes of AMC or the Breaking Bad crew because it was hard to tell anything was censored. This one in 5A didn't count because of what Vince said about how Scarface would be dipped if they swore on TV.
When they show Scarface, you're hearing it all the time, dipped.
And they're pretending they're watching the TV censored version on the TV in the TV show or something like that. And he said this whole 1 F word per year thing to make the 2 dipped F words in season 5B more impactful. He just didn't talk about how AMC didn't mind this time that there were multiple F words to dip. Did that make any sense? I don't know.
By the way, don't get me wrong here. I'm not trying to prove Vince Gilligan is a liar or something. I mean, running a show, especially a show like Breaking Bad, is very complicated and a lot of info has to go into your head. There is probably a reason as to why none of this makes sense to me, but it still doesn't change the fact that this doesn't make sense to me.
Vince, if you're watching this video, please, I need answers. I'm begging you.
Anyway, did you know that Breaking Bad had some extra cool shit? Of course you do. You're watching a video about the F word usage in the show. You're a nerd. Breaking Bad had these little mini episodes, or minisodes, that I struggle to say properly when recording for some reason. And obviously because I'm mentioning these, they're related to the F word obsession I have right now. The ones I'm interested in this video are the first set, made in 2009, so not the Saul Goodman commercials. They said shit in one of them, and it was bleeped, but that's because the ad was presenting itself as an ad that would be aired on TV.
And there's this guy there, and we were shooting this and he seemed kind of cool.
And so it makes sense for that to be censored, and because it's not the F word, I'm legally barred from saying anything else about that under threat of death.
Let's start this first one where Hank and Maria are performing sexual cop role play in the bed. Oh, okay then. Okay, so how long do I have to watch this until they say...
Don't you fucking look at me.
Oh, that was fast. I assume just like Hank Schrader is. So as far as I'm aware, these were not censored in any way. They weren't muted like they were on TV. And honestly, why would they be? These are supposedly made for AMC's website and later included on the DVD extras. I tried checking the internet archive of AMCTV.com, but I didn't get super far. Even when I installed the shit, it would still be a dead end. I would find it kind of stupid if they censored anything they uploaded on the internet though. Anyway, there's also the Twat Hammer video where Badger not only does the exact thing I do every time I hold a camera with an optical zoom lens, and not only say twat in the most disgusting way possible, but they also say the F word 4 whole times. Oh hell yeah.
Fuck!
Now, see, now you made me say the word fuck.
What, you can say fuck.
No, you can't say fuck, all right? How are we gonna get this on VH1?
The other mini episodes don't say the F word, so yet again, I'm not allowed to say anything about those shorts under threat of assassination. Anyway, a few seconds ago, I thought that they probably didn't censor the F word because it was on the internet, but then I did some more skulking around. I downloaded the Breaking Bad universe extras off of Reddit because I'm only the most upstanding, legally abiding citizen, and as far as I'm aware, it's very smart to put the trust of things you download in the hands of random people on Reddit. Anyway, my computer still somehow works, and I was able to see this music video for Fallacies, which was created by Twathammer. And in the music video, there's this part. That is the word shit. Now, the other minisodes from both this file I downloaded and the versions on YouTube are probably from the DVD or Blu-ray because the quality is pretty high. While this isn't. This was certainly right off the AMCTV.com website, as the watermark is burned in the corner here. I have no clue if this is supposed to be like in-universe censoring or AMC doing it, but still, with no way to actually look at the videos the way they were presented in 2009 on AMC's website, I can't for sure disprove the idea that AMC are so fucking puritanical that they censored the F word on the internet. Anyway, we're not quite done here because we have another thing I felt like quickly noting. The file I downloaded from Reddit also had an extra from season 5 that's pretty much an alternate universe clip of Breaking Bad if it was on HBO or something. Not only do they say the F word twice, but they show titties throughout almost the whole thing, so that's a whole lot of extra effort on my part. I mean, come on, YouTube, it's just a breast. Well, two, but you know. Anyway, the F word is used when Skinny Pete is trying to say Carpe Diem and Jesse's like,
what the fuck, man, you having a seizure?
The other time it's said after Saul gives Jesse a gun.
Why are you giving me a gun?
Bears.
Bears? What bears?
Up in Canada, you know what they do when a bear kills some asshole hiker off in the woods?
What the fuck are you talking about?
There's not really much I wanted to say here. I just wanted an excuse to make that HBO comment, I guess. It's not really a joke. And also, I thought the F words that were in here were funny. Anyway, the final thing I want to discuss in this segment is the Breaking Bad alternate ending trademark. Not this one. You've probably seen this video of Hank breaking out of his shallow grave into Hajili, or a green screen of his grave into Hajili. You might also notice that it's edited. I mean, AMC doesn't broadcast in the Vine aspect ratio for one. Its watermark doesn't look like that. And also there's a bunch of weird cuts. Where is this video actually from? Well, you know that funny video of Giancarlo saying,
you unzip, you go to the urinal, and you touch yourself.
That's made by Funny or Die, which is a website.
Son of a bitch! Homie. I'm under a domey.
What's interesting about the video is that the YouTube upload only has 96k views, compared to the slightly edited version on YouTube, which has, 13 million. Freebooting is wonderful, isn't it? Yeah, anyway, he says the funny F word.
Let me get the fuck out of here.
I'm not exactly sure what he's saying, though. The way he says it is kind of mumbled, and the video doesn't have subtitles, so I don't know. It sounds like, let me get the fuck out of here, but that doesn't make any sense. He's not talking to anyone at this point, and he's already out. The moral of the story here, if this and the VHS Variety Hour is anything to go by, I can't understand English. El Camino. Clearly I'm better at speaking Spanish. As mentioned earlier, Netflix airs a lot of profane and indecent content, even to the point of questionable legality. Netflix will probably allow literally anything. It just takes someone willing to do anything. So, to Netflix, swearing is small potatoes. Swear all you want, no one cares. So you know what that means. They just kind of casually say the F word in El Camino. Casually doesn't mean frequently, though. They say it 7 times in this 2-hour movie. But they don't really save them for the most pivotal moments like in the main show. It's almost exactly 1 hour into the movie where they say the first one. And then the next one is almost exactly 3 minutes later.
And you will be as fuck.
And then the next one is almost exactly 2 minutes later.
Can I get my gun back?
An hour in, they finally realized they were on Netflix and they could do whatever they wanted. There isn't a single use of the word that's on its own, for lack of a better way of phrasing it. It's like they say it in little batches that are a few minutes apart. It's like mining and finding little veins of ore in Minecraft. Only it's fun. I mentioned the first 3 happening in the span of 5 minutes in pretty much the same scene, and the next time you hear it is almost a half hour later during Jesse's slavery flashback. One of the Nazis says it twice in the same scene with about 3 minutes separating it.
Added a what?
Fish plate.
What, like a plate of fish? The
Kenny, if he breaks his leg, he's not gonna be able to cook.
And then a little bit later, it's said twice in the same scene with about 3 minutes separating it again.
What long story? When I left, he didn't even have a
Come on, man, I didn't mean this. Casey. Fuck.
El Camino did air on AMC, but I couldn't find footage of that, nor could I find any info on whether they censored it for broadcast. I can make an educated guess as to what happened during the airing later in the video, but I can't say it right now because for some reason I feel the info I have later in the video is so cool I need to avoid spoiling it until the right time. Yeah. Anyway, that's about it. I remember saying in this weird-ass video I made a couple years ago for reasons that were probably fueled by insecurity and anxiety, that I would consider Breaking Bad the best show I had ever seen, but it wasn't my favorite, as that goes to the Eric Andre show or Gumball. Both of those shows I haven't seen every episode of, by the way. Anyway, since making that video, I've watched Better Call Saul 3 times over in full, as well as countless videos about it, and I have no hesitation in saying that this is my favorite show of all time. It's so fucking good, man, holy shit! Unfortunately, I will probably never review it because there's just way too much to talk about. I mean, if my Five Nights at Freddy's video was over 2 hours long, which is like twice as long as it takes to beat it, my Better Call Saul video would probably be a week in length. However, I have this video, which is literally my excuse to talk about both of these shows, so let's do it. First things first, with Better Call Saul, I don't really see the fun fact of they were only allowed 1 F-word per season paraded around, really. Probably because that's not a fact. Watching the show on Netflix, they use the F-word more than once per season, usually about 3 or 4 times. Season 1 has 3, Season 2 has 4, Season 3 has 4, kinda. Okay, so Hector in the scene, when it's translated into English, uses the F-word 3 times.
A la chingada con Eladio, con bolsa y contigo.
However, from what I'm able to deduce thanks to the help of this Reddit post, he only used what was the equivalent of the F-word in Spanish once. Because, you know, that's just how the language works.
Chingada.
La chingada is a term commonly used in colloquial, even crass Mexican Spanish that refers to various conditions or situations of generally negative connotations. The word is derived from the verb chingar, to fuck. You would not believe how long it took for me to get this text-to-speech voice.
And also, from this Reddit post, this is how it was censored on TV.
Con Eladio, con bolsa y contigo.
So, basically, there's 1 F-word and 1 C-word that is translated into 3 F-words. Yeah, moving on. Season 4 has 3, Season 5 has 3, and Season 6 has 5. Or more. I can't tell. It kind of sounds like he's saying the F-word here in Breaking Bad, the episode, but the subtitles just say grunting. Much like Breaking Bad, the show. In the original airings of the episodes on basic cable-ass AMC, they were muted.
Now, here's something I find funny about this whole thing that I'm surprised I didn't bring up earlier, and yeah, I am still sweaty, thanks for noticing. Let's say you're watching the classic Howard rejects Jimmy scene. You're engrossed in the drama, and then all of a sudden, this happens.
Go to hell, Howard. I'm not giving you my case, and I'm gonna tell every one of those clients what a lying, miserable pig you are.
What else could he possibly be saying there? I mean, just think about it. While shit and asshole go in and out of being censored on different channels, or different shows, or the same show sometimes, there's one word that's the most consistently censored on TV. The F word. So what's being protected here? How often is it that censorship like this, where something is written into the script or otherwise filmed and put into the timeline, and it's going to be included in the final product, but it's going to be removed, not by cutting it, but by obscuring it, actually prevent you from understanding what is going on or knowing what's behind the censorship? Probably not much, which is also probably why AMC decided to stop censoring the F word in Season 4 of Better Call Saul.
Yeah, seriously. Going back into the history books, which in this case is Reddit posts shocked that AMC weren't a bunch of nannies for once, this scene aired without any kind of muting.
Fuck you, Jimmy.
Which makes me very happy because censoring Patrick Fabian's delivery of this line seems like a crime. Now this part
Fucking son of monkeys.
was also aired that season, but I couldn't find any people raving about that scene being uncensored online around the time of the airing, nor can I find a clip I can guarantee is from the original airing on TV, unlike this scene. So I don't know if this was uncensored when it was first broadcast, but it seems as though after this point they stopped censoring the F word on the show.
Fuck you, Jimmy.
Oh, don't you fucking owe Jimmy me. Who's that fucking Lalo Salamanca?
Which brings me back to El Camino. Remember how I said they aired it on AMC? That happened in 2020, and Better Call Saul stopped being censored in 2018. So I'm willing to take an educated guess and say that when they aired El Camino, it was uncensored. Though I can't confirm that. I mean, they say it 7 times within the span of 2 hours, so maybe that was too much for them and they did censor it. I don't know. I know this network has a habit of counting the swear words.
Anyway, to try to get more information of the rules Better Call Saul had to follow, much like Breaking Bad, I listened to the director's commentary while playing Minecraft. And it was a gigantic waste of time. Well, yes, I did learn some cool facts about my favorite TV show of all time while playing a video game I hold very dear to my heart. They didn't talk about the F word. It was fucking bullshit.
Okay, well, all that's not entirely true. I wrote down every time they mentioned the swearing in relation to the rules they had to follow. They didn't bring up the F-word censorship at all in season 1, really, though they do mention the goddamn and 5-0. If you remember, AMC is also stingy on that.
You were so good here, and in the moment, you added a goddamn coming up here, and God bless AMC, they couldn't say no to it.
It seems as though they did the same thing they did in Say My Name, where they just went to the network and said, "Guys, it's so dramatic. Don't censor us, please." That's my begging voice. I wouldn't make a good sub. They also didn't really give much useful info in season 2 or season 3. They don't mention the first uncensored F word in season 4. They don't bring up the F word in this scene or even the goddamn in this scene. The only time they call attention to whatever rules they had when it comes to the F word is when Kim says it in 506. Someone says one of our 2 allowed.
So great. Was that one of our 2? That was 2 were allowed?
Which implies that they were only allowed 2 per season, which hasn't been the case up until now, or implies that they were only allowed 2 in this season, which also isn't true. Though to be fair on this front, when Jimmy says it in the next episode, they say in the commentary that this was actually unplanned and they had a version without it.
That's an unplanned fucking, I believe.
And we had a take without it. I think we used it anyway.
So considering they did use the version with the F word, I guess AMC just didn't care. Or they made a great argument to them, I don't know. The fact they were uncensored on TV didn't stop them from censoring them on the internet, though. Yeah, so AMC, when they uploaded a couple clips of the show to YouTube, decided to mute the swear words again. Rather terribly, I might add.
A man... horse.
And it wasn't just the F word.
Looking down at us from their glass tower, they think they can on whoever they want, and we just have to smile and say thank you? Insincere! Insincere!
Jimmy, what happened?
God, year, what am I supposed to do for a whole year?
Jimmy!
I guarantee I'm not selling cell phones for a fucking year, I'll tell you that. I mean, I wasn't stuck up, but I knew my right? Jesus, it's right there on your face. You think I'm some kind of lowlife, some kind of ass? What kind of lawyer guilty people hire, right?
I don't get why. This is the internet. No one cares. You can find porn on the internet. Okay, to be fair, this is YouTube. But you're allowed to swear on YouTube. It's very easy to find videos doing that. I mean, you're a bit more likely to be demonetized, but surely that doesn't matter to AMC, the multi-million-dollar TV company. Surely demonetization doesn't matter to them. Surely. If multi-millionaire TV company AMC censored clips of Better Call Saul on YouTube so they wouldn't get demonetized, that would be the most hilariously pathetic thing in the entire fucking world. But yeah, as for the TV airings, I wasn't able to find an answer as to why they stopped censoring them. It seems as though other basic cable shows like Always Sunny have also been allowed to say the F word uncensored now, though.
Fuck no! Fuck no!
So my guess is, considering the rise of streaming services over the years, which are far less strict with censorship and are far more common in homes now than cable, along with YouTube becoming more and more popular by the day and the ability to hide people from the horrors of profane language decreasing, it seems some cable channels were able to convince the advertisers that saying the F word in this day and age isn't a big deal in the slightest anymore.
At the end of the day, it just gets more and more archaic for swear words to require censorship as time goes on. Again, like I said in my Conquer video, it's not like I'm advocating for children to be swearing or for there to be swearing in every single piece of media out there. I can understand why children's shows exist. It's just that there's a spectrum. There's shows that aim younger and there's shows that aim older. And I think with the prevalence of streaming services going up, age ratings and parental controls, as well as parents just doing their fucking job, are the things that should be prioritized. Not censoring swear words in a show meant for adults that if a child watched it would probably traumatize them anyway, considering it's made for adults. A reminder, this is the Breaking Bad franchise we're talking about. So yeah, the takeaway here, the moral of the story, the point of this video that you already know and agree with, censoring swear words is fucking stupid. But thank you for watching this video anyway. I genuinely enjoy researching this type of stuff and talking about it in videos because most of the time it's very easy to make fun of. So yeah, expect more videos like this in the future because they're pretty fun to make. But not right now though. Right now I have to make a tier list of every F word usage in the Breaking Bad universe.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you really liked it or really liked my channel, you can donate to me on Patreon because I have one of those. Normally there'd be credits or shoutouts here, but nobody's donated to it yet, so maybe you can be the first one if you give a shit, which you don't. Also, if you want to watch other videos like this, the Conker's Bad Fur Day one is also about censorship, and the Five Nights at Freddy's one is also me going way too much in detail about something that doesn't really matter. That being the quality of Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, that's about it. See you later. Bye-bye.